Hi everyone, welcome to SkyGems Academy Podcast. We're a family and series of podcasts that gives voice to stories, life experiences, and news for listeners to learn from the best in their space and the best in the industry. In SkyGems Academy Podcast Series 2, entitled Discovering 21st Century Skills, we will be focusing on having changemakers and inspiring individuals from all around the world, sharing their stories and experiences. Speakers will be sharing their personal journey and stories of self-discovery, life experiences, hardships and challenges faced, and their personal discovery of mastering the 21st century skills in their life journey. They will share what they wish they knew and what they hope to have learned when they were younger that could have helped them to seamlessly navigate through the challenges that they face in their life journey. Their stories will inspire us all, and especially the younger generations, to understand the importance of mastering 21st century skills. These essential 21st century skills need to be mastered at a younger age, practiced continuously, nurtured and perfected over time. Driven by clear vision and solid purpose, these inspiring individuals will help to shape and reimagine the world we live in. We hope that their stories will inspire SkyGems Academy podcast listeners to have a vision, to make a difference, to pursue your passion, dream big, and do things that give you purpose no matter at what stage of your life you may be in. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy SkyGems Academy Podcast Series 2, Discovering 21st Century Skills.
We are pleased to introduce you to Maurice Yao, our charismatic and distinguished guest speaker for SkyGems Academy Podcast Series 2, Episode 1, Discovering 21st Century Skills. Here are some key highlights of Maurice's sterling track records. Maurice Yao, founder and managing director of Infinity Legal LLC, has more than 25 years of experience at the bar. He was admitted as a barrister at law, Lincoln's Inn, England, where he read law as the Sultan Azlan Shah, the 9th King and former Chief Justice of Malaysia, bar scholar. Thereafter, he was admitted as an advocate and solicitor of the Supreme Court of Singapore and an advocate and solicitor of the High Court of Malaysia. He is also a commissioner for oath and a notary public. He was a foreign registered lawyer in Hong Kong and has held various roles as a director, compliance officer, trust officer, and senior legal counsel at one of the largest independent wealth management companies in Asia. Do tune in to Maurice's podcast, exclusively streamed on SkyGems Academy Podcast. In this podcast episode, you will hear Maurice speaks passionately about his passions in life, how his humble upbringing has kept him grounded and has given him strength and perseverance to keep moving forward and carry on. Maurice will be sharing with us what he wished he knew when he was younger that could have helped him to navigate through his life journey. Maurice is very kind and generous with his word of wisdom and advice for the younger generations. Without further ado, let's tune in to SkyGems Academy Podcast Series 2, Episode 1 for Maurice Yao's podcast. Find out more about Maurice Yao at infinitylegal.com.sg. Enjoy the show, guys. See ya. Hi, good afternoon, Maurice. Very warm welcome to SkyGems Academy Podcast Series 2.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me.
What a pleasure and honor to have you, Maurice.
It's my privilege to be invited for this podcast.
Well, I'm sure all the listeners of SkyGems Academy Podcast Series 2 are all waiting to hear from you, Maurice. In this case, you know what? I'm just going to hand over to you to introduce yourself to the listeners.
Thank you, Alyssa. Hello, everyone. My name is Maurice Yao. I'm a lawyer in practice for about 25 years. I'm also a notary public and a commissioner for oath. I'm qualified in both Singapore as well as Malaysia. I received my legal education in the UK. So UK is like my second home. I have a lot of wonderful memories of UK. I studied law at Liverpool University and I did my bar at Lincoln's Inn. I was proud to be called to the bar at Lincoln's Inn in 1993, where I read law as the Sultan Azlan Shah bar scholar Sultan Azlan Shah, some of you may or may not know, was the ex-Chief Justice of Malaysia and the King of Malaysia. And I was very honored and privileged to have received his scholarship as well as his patronage.
Well, thank you, Morris. Thank you. I'm sure the listeners are all dying to hear from you. The rest of the podcast series where we have such an honorable and such a distinguished speaker for today who's able to share with us all his passion, his purpose in life, and his story up to today, and what's his vision for the future. So, Morris, let's get into it. What is your passion in life? And when did you find your passion? How do you develop it? I know it's a long question, but let's try.
I'm a man of many, many passions, both at the personal level as well as at my professional level. I believe passion is what drives us. Passion is what keeps us alive. And passion is something that each of us should have, no matter who we are and what we are in life. So I think we all have a part to play in society. As far as my passion is concerned, on a personal side, I'm very interested in music. I'm very interested in food. I'm very interested in traveling. I'm very interested in cooking. I'm very interested in cleaning. I'm very interested in children. I love my kids. I love my nephew and nieces. And insofar as my professional life is concerned, I'm passionate about my work. I'm passionate about what I do. I'm in the business of law. I'm passionate about justice. I believe that justice is something that should be accessible to everyone in the society. No matter how humble your origins are or how high you may be in society, everybody must have a level playing field. And insofar as my role is concerned, I would try and help as much as I could to level the playing field.
Wow, Morris, so much passion, so many passions in your life, from kids to professional to music to legal counsel, of course, in terms of being a justice and also a fair player in the market, helping everyone else to have a fair level playing field, as you say, and also cleaning and cooking. That is amazing. I'm sorry I chuckled at cleaning because I thought it's really cool that someone as professional as you, as highly capable like you, actually enjoy cleaning and cooking for the family, I would assume, and also for the loved ones. Thank you for sharing that, Morris. And also really nice to hear that you are very kind and generous, helping everyone else to have a level playing field. So thank you for that. Morris, I find that it's really important to hear from you, and I'm sure the listeners are keen to hear from you. What is your purpose in life? What is your why? What drives you and motivates you every day to do what you do every day?
That's a very big question. My purpose in life at the very highest level is, of course, to ascertain and to find out why we are here. Why are we put on earth? Why are we here? Why do we exist? Are there life beyond earth? Is there anyone out there? Who made us? Are we created or were we evolved? These are all the big questions. I'm not sure whether I could answer them at all. Of course, in a general sense, purpose of life, I would say at the best that I could do, apart from trying my best to answer those big questions, at the very humble level, I suppose my purpose of life at the professional level would be to do my best for my clients, do the best to ensure that everyone has access to justice, regardless of their stations in life, and to ensure that justice is served no matter how humble your situation in life is. It would be a gross miscarriage of justice if you are unable to have access to lawyers and you end up facing a miscarriage of justice. That is something that I feel very strongly about, and something that I do my best to ensure that that wouldn't happen.
That's excellent, Morris. That's really humbling to hear what you do every day and what motivates you every day. I think it's actually really the right time now for me to ask this question, and I think the listeners will also like to hear from you. What type of services do you provide from Infinity Legal so that everyone from the listeners in SkyGems Academy Podcast is able to understand and able to engage you for services?
Well, we have very strict rules of professional conduct so far as in Singapore is concerned, and I'm sure in other Commonwealth countries too, in the sense that there's rules against professional touting, and I'm very careful not to cross that line. But I think insofar as the kind of roles and the kind of areas of law that I practice. I've been in practice for more than 25 years and I enjoy every moment of it. To me, it's the best job in the world to be able to help people, to be able to do my best for the client. It's very fulfilling. So it's essentially over the course of 25 years, I've done many cases. I do court cases, I do litigation. The law is constantly evolving. There are new laws being introduced at a regular basis, and we are doing our best to keep up with the pace of the changes. So it's essentially almost every areas of law, including family law, probate, wealth management, corporate law. I also do notary public work as well as commissioner for oath work. If you want a good description of it, if you want to read more, just visit my website at infinitylegal.com.sg.
Well, thank you, Maurice. Well, listeners of SkyGems Academy Podcast, remember infinitylegal.com.sg. SkyGems Academy Podcast listeners, go and visit infinitylegal.com.sg for more information on Maurice's services and support and practices. Thank you, Maurice. Well, Maurice, there's actually more to it. I'm sorry. Now we come to the juicier part of it. We'd like to hear about your story. Would you be able to share with us an experience in your childhood days or growing up days where you learn about yourself the most, and what defines you? Do you know what moment defines you?
I grew up in a small town in Malaysia called Kuantan. That is still home to me. I think growing up years has been very memorable, and I have lots of happy memories of childhood growing up in Kuantan with my 3 sisters and my parents. It was happy as well as challenging times, but we made it through it all, through thick and thin. It's, I think, through those challenging times that we have been through while growing up, that made me a much more stronger person, a much more focused person, a much more determined person in the face of adversities and challenges in life. That's what I've been carrying throughout my adult life, the kind of qualities that I've inherited during those periods.
Oh, thank you, Maurice. Thank you for sharing such humble beginnings and what makes who you are right now. It's really, really an honor to hear from you and also sharing with the audience here. Well, Maurice, we hear so much from you already, and I'm sure the listeners would like to hear even more. And I think this is something that we all sometimes look back to our younger years, and now where we are, we always look back and say to ourselves, what I wish I knew when I was younger that will actually help me right now in my adult life. What would that be for you? And I know mine. I'd like to hear from you.
What I wish I knew when I was younger. I think while growing up, I was very fortunate to have very supportive parents and a family and sisters. And I think what is very important while you're growing up is to have a very curious mind and have the ability and access to things that will enable you to develop, and so that your curiosities could be addressed. Like, for instance, while I was growing up, I have great access to books, comics, model aeroplanes, musical instruments, music lessons. None of those were denied to me. It wasn't easy on my parents to afford those, but they gave it to me. I was very fortunate, especially my mother, who didn't earn much, but she could still afford those things for me. And I'm truly grateful for what she has done. And that's what made me what I am today, which is why a very good example would be the set of encyclopedias that she bought for us, her kids. And I relied extensively on those encyclopedias for my knowledge. There were no internet those days, and I learned a lot. Those are the things that actually stayed with me to this day. Likewise, even simple things like comics. I mean, those were the things that you read and you learn as you grow up, and the kind of things that you learn stayed with you to this day. And I remember every single thing that I read.
Wow, Maurice, no wonder you're a legal counsel. You remember everything that you read. I wish I could do that. Comics, wow, those are amazing, isn't it? I wish we could have more comic books when we were younger as well. Those were really fun. And you're right, encyclopedias are amazing because back then there was no internet, or there was, but it was really slow. You can't really do much, and it's all green screen and black screen as far as I can remember, and not much information on the web. So encyclopedia was everything that we had, and library, right, where we go and get our stuff and information. So amazing, Maurice. Thanks for sharing that journey of yours. Really helps the listeners and myself to actually learn a lot more about life, how life could be and life was, and how that can change you in your journey. Well, Maurice, now I think for the listeners, I mean, you've gone through a lot. You have a lot of skills, clearly, from music to helping people to professional level on your legal practice. What skills you wish you learned and developed during your younger years that you think that will help you now?
The skills that I wish I've developed in my younger years, I guess maybe I could have maybe started much earlier with my violin and piano. But it's never too late. Never too late. I mean, I'm still very much into it. I think I really enjoy playing both instruments. It's the way that I unwind, and it helps me to focus. It helps me to relax. It helps me to, after you relax, you feel that you can clears your mind and you can think things through better. But yes, I mean, if I had a chance, I wish I would have started on those instruments much, much earlier. So maybe I could end up being a concert pianist or concert violinist. But, it's never too late. I think the most important thing is that you enjoy it. You got to enjoy it. So I'm still enjoying it. I think I will continue to enjoy it. And hopefully learn a few more instruments. My uncle in France promised me a saxophone, so I'm waiting for that.
Well, to the uncle in France, get ready your money for the saxophone for Maurice. And yes, never too late. I agree. Never too late to learn. It's lifelong learning journey that in front of us. So everyone listening in, I think Maurice is a great example for all of us to learn from. Never too late to start, so long as you enjoy what you learn and you have passion in it. And Maurice, do you happen to have a YouTube channel that all could watch your video on piano and also violin playing?
No, I don't, but maybe I should. I've just read this morning that BTS has the highest YouTube views in history ever. Yes. So maybe I should start by watching BTS.
BTS, thank you. Thanks for the inspiration to Maurice. And I'm sure one day he will get his channel up and running. And thanks to you. Well, Maurice, now we come to the second last question. And I think it's really nice to hear from you. If there's any advice and guidance you'd like to give to the future generations, things that they should learn now that will help them in their adult world, what would that be and why?
Things that the younger generation should learn now. I think it's very easy. I think you should just be as curious as possible with the world around you. Never stop learning. Read as much as you can. Be interested in what's happening around you in the current affairs, or if you're not interested in current affairs, then other things, whatever that drives you, like the environment, or maybe, if you're interested in cooking or food or traveling, you gotta be passionate about something. You have to be passionate about something, and at the same time, remember, try and do good in this world. And that's very important.
Try and do good to this world and in this world. Thank you, Maurice. I think all of us can learn from that. It's really inspiring to hear from you, Maurice. And Maurice, last but not least, and I'm sure everyone would like to hear from you, would you be able to share your wish and hope for the future?
My wish and hope for the future, well, I wish that the challenges that we are all facing in this year, 2020, will be less of a challenge in months or weeks to come. And hopefully next year, in 2021, we get to turn a new page, a new chapter. I personally cannot wait to get back to the old ways of doing things. I miss traveling. I miss meeting my friends who came all the way from overseas. I miss being able to travel overseas to see my relatives. And I just can't wait to bring my little daughter, who is 1.5 years old, who has never traveled. I'd like to bring her traveling for the first time ever. And I can't wait to do that.
Well, thank you, Maurice, for sharing. I'm sure that day will come and we're all longing for it too. I'm sure everything will work out well and we hope for the best for the future. Maurice, thank you once again for everything that you have done.
You're most welcome. It's an honor and privilege to be invited. Thank you.
Thank you, Maurice. Ladies and gentlemen, we just had our very first podcast episode for Series 2 at SkyGems Academy Podcast with Mr. Maurice Yao, Managing Director of Infinity Legal in Singapore. You can find him at www.infinitylegal.com.sg. Check him out. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Signing off. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to SkyGems Academy Podcast Series 2, Discovering 21st Century Skills. We hope you enjoyed our podcast. Please kindly subscribe to SkyGems Academy Podcast, streamed on various platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor.fm, and many more. Visit our website at www.skygem.com SkyGems Academy to find out more about our very special speakers and about SkyGems Academy. We appreciate you and your continuous support. May peace and joy be with you always.